Keystone Cops.
What's going on, guys? Long time no see. Everything's fine here. Just been focusing on some things around the house. That's about it. Hope all is well with you guys. Today, I wanted to cover a video that has kind of been in my mind for quite some time now, but the topic keeps coming up behind the scenes. What's better, this knife or this knife? What's better, this knife or this knife? If you could pick from one, which one would you pick? You know, and it's just, I think that the answer is right in front of all of us. I think that we just overlook it, and then depending on where you fall on this spectrum, we're disappointed when we get what the manufacturer told us we were going to get. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is each one of these companies obviously have a motto that they go by. Some of them are more known than others, but all of them I think hold pretty true to what you are going to get in one of these knives. This is not necessarily the best example of the Hinderer, but I'll get to that in a minute. So let's start from the very top. You've got this knife here, the CRK large 21 with the Insingo blade. I know these are now discontinued, the 21 as a whole. But you could sub this in for a 31. It doesn't really matter. So what is Chris Reeve's motto? We all know that is think twice and cut once. That's a reference to their affinity for details, precision, and accuracy. They boast that they have tolerances tighter than NASA standards, etc., etc., etc. So when you purchase one of these knives, you are purchasing a knife that is well thought out in the execution of its overall design. You're purchasing this knife because of the high attention to detail and machining. You can see even the spine of the knife is rounded off. They invented the frame lock, but you can also see that things like they have a pivot bushing in here, but there is absolutely zero play up, down, left, or right. Part of that is because you can tighten this pivot all the way down and it will not bind on itself because of the pivot bushing on the inside. And there is no up and down play even after years and years of use, because they have heat treated this lock bar face to give it extra wear resistance. So when you purchase this knife, that motto is telling you all of those things without you even knowing what all those things are. However, I think that this knife has a reputation for class and quality just because of the name Chris Reeve. However, I don't think a lot of those details are known, and that's not necessarily based on the company's motto. So with that being said, let's go on to number 2 on the list, which is this is the Hinderer FireTac. Highly, highly, highly underrated knife. I think this should be the Hinderer knife over the XM18, especially now that we've kind of gotten away from that whole first responder thing that was really the drive, the engine of Hinderer Knives back when he was only selling to first responders. But anyway, with all that aside, you guys didn't think you were going to get a video for the first time back without any rambling, did you? Anyway, this and I don't even think this is the official motto, but Rick says it several times himself. You can find parts all over the internet, both on the primary and the secondary market. Not for this knife, because I have no reason, no understanding why, but it doesn't seem like Hinderer wants to give this knife a lot of love, and it doesn't seem like the community gives this knife a lot of love. But I'm telling you, you guys are missing out. But anyway, what I'm saying is, this knife here has this company here uses the motto of make it your own. So they make a knife that is a pretty standard fare. You can get it in sponto grind, flat grind. You can get different types of steels. You can get different color scales. You can get I'm sorry, slicer grind is what I meant to say. You can get different scales. You can, with the Gen 6 XM18s, you can get the tri-way pivot system with the bushings, the Teflon washers, and the phosphor bronze washers. You can put a new clip on it. You can get new standoffs. You can, I mean, you name it, you can do it to these knives. You can change the screws themselves. So when you buy this knife, yes, it has that legacy of being a hard use knife, that first responder style knife, but Rick and that company have really put an emphasis on making these knives your own and being able to take a basic model and really add a bunch of things to it and make it your own type of knife. Now, with that said, if that's something you're interested in, then that's something that's going to appeal to you. Now, the interesting thing about it is that model is something that you can opt out of. You're not necessarily tied into having to buy all those different parts, because if you are familiar with the parts I'm talking about, you know how much they cost. You can spend more money than you originally spent on the knife on adding things to the knife that you already own. But with that being said, this is still a first responder-ish, hard use-ish tool of a knife, more so than this very highly refined, very well polished, very well thought out CRK Sebenza. So there's some difference there. Now we get down to the Strider, and I don't think, well, clearly by the conversations I have, I don't think anyone is really aware of the motto or philosophy from Strider Knives. So their motto is high-speed tools for hardcore individuals. So yet again, I think that you're getting all of the information you need right there in that motto. High-speed tool. So this is an older model. I'll probably roll in a newer model because I know people will want to see that. Even though, you know, there's always this talk about, oh, but the fit and finish, oh, but the fit and finish, but the fit. Honestly, guys, a newer Strider and a newer Hinderer, I don't see. I know guys are going to say, but these this hardware is made in-house, so you know that's a huge difference there. X, Y, and Z, so on and so forth. Again, high-speed tool, make it your own. So both serve the tool role, but if this is meant to be a high-speed tool, as long as these fasteners hold up, doesn't matter if they were made in-house. Now, I know that goes a long way with some people, and I know that can speak to a certain level of quality and attention to detail. So there is that. But you have a knife here. It has a chainring bolt, which a lot of people don't like. But again, this is something that you can set it, you can forget it, you don't have to worry about it loosening on you or anything of that nature. Whereas with these knives here, if you get one of these knives, you know it comes with Loctite inside of the container. If you've owned one of these knives, you know, especially once you start talking Gen 6, we're talking current generation now, and we're talking XM18. If you have one of these knives and you start to tweak on it and this, that, and the other, you can go back and check out my XM18 video, and I actually talk about some of those things. You're gonna need some Loctite, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, these knives come with Loctite in the case as well. These knives here, you pretty much, you set it, you forget it, you use it, you abuse it. It kind of keeps on ticking. There's really nothing crazy over the top special about it. And again, we're talking base models here. This is plain titanium. This is a representation of just a regular standard model. This is just a plain Lego S&G. So we're not talking about anything special and over the top. And even if we were, in the case of Strider, the knife I'm talking about right here, you're talking about maybe a different color scale. You're talking about maybe some laser engraving on the blade and maybe a different finish up to and or including laser etching on the titanium here. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's a tool. It functions. Like I said, you know, you get a lot of talk about fit and finish. That is the centering on this knife. I've used this knife for years and years and years. This knife is probably 7 or 8 years old. You can see here, that's the lockup. There's no lock rock. Let me hold it out here so we can use leverage. There's no lock rock. It's just a flat out tool. Here, I really do wish that Rick would bring some of that make it your own flair to this knife. Not that I necessarily need to change anything about this knife, but it would be nice. I would like a micarta scale for this, like their natural linen that they do for the XM18s. But like I said, for whatever reason, the Firetacks don't have that support yet. And then the CRK Sabenza, I've said before, this is like the Glock. And I know people are going to say, oh, but Glock, price, X, Y, and Z. I'm saying it's the Glock of the knife world, because you just open it, you use it, and it just works and works and works so effortlessly and so flawlessly that it's boring. This knife is a knife that does not get a lot of hype, I guess is a good word, in the community, because it just works. Everything is, excuse me, everything is well thought out. Everything just functions so well. Everything is fit together so perfectly. You could even take the screws out of this knife and you have to pry it apart. Many people will tell you that. So it's just a boringly reliable workhorse of a knife. It's just going to work and serve you for a lifetime. And any of these knives, if they stop serving you, you send them in, and all of these companies will take care of you and fix whatever the issue is and send the knife back to you. No problems whatsoever. So I just wanted to do that video, and like I said, just kind of touch on how I think there's a lot of information in just a simple motto that these companies give us to go by when we're looking at these knives. And I think that could clear up a lot of questions that people have when they're trying to decide which one of these knives is right for me. Again, think twice, cut once. A lot of emphasis on precision, accuracy, well thought out overall design, just to be just an heirloom quality piece that's just going to function and serve you for a lifetime, and your children, and possibly even your children's children. Make it your own. This knife here, yes, it does have a lineage of first responder, hard use type characteristics. However, now there's been a shift more to the make it your own, where there's plenty of parts that are made by the Hinderer company to add on to this knife. Again, screws, back spacers, pocket clips, the filler tabs, etc., etc., etc. Like I said, you could literally spend more money on add-on parts than you did on the knife itself. And here we have high-speed tools for hardcore individuals. So again, emphasis on being a tool, just being a workhorse of a knife that you can just take out, use, not be concerned about. And if for whatever reason, like I said, with all of these knives, if it stops serving you, you send it in and they'll take care of you. So I hope you guys got some information from this video. I'm going to film a couple of videos today, so I'll definitely be rolling out some content here over the next few weeks. Appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Remember, a lazy man carries a dull knife, and don't be a dumb person with a smartphone.